For months, my wife's behavior had changed, and every day I felt a deep sadness, realizing that the light of our love had dimmed somewhere along the way. She used to smile at everything I said, cherish my small gestures, and make me feel seen. But now she often avoided facing me, ignored my words, and didn't respond to even the smallest signs of my affection. I had tried countless times to express my feelings, but each attempt seemed to open a new door of disappointment. My heart broke again and again, yet I remained patient, thinking perhaps she was going through some inner struggle. I refused to give up hope, telling myself every day that maybe one day we could reclaim those happy moments we once shared. Then the day of our anniversary approached day that had once symbolized a fresh start for our love, but now a strange emptiness and numbness filled my heart. I realized that this year there were no plans, no gestures, nothing at all. That thought pierced my heart like a knife, and despite my anger and disappointment, I chose silence. I decided to cancel the anniversary quietly, without a word or a hint, taking this step from the intensity of my pain and loneliness, relying on patience and waiting rather than hope. Finally, the moment came when my wife realized that we had made no plans for our anniversary. I remained silent, waiting for her to say something, but she didn't speak either. She just slowly came closer and looked at me. In her eyes, there was no anger or disappointment, only a strange quiet sadness that reflected glimpses of our once happy moments. I looked at her with a mix of astonishment and sorrow, and for a moment, I felt that our relationship was still alive. We had only ignored it because of our fears and pain. In that silent moment, I thought maybe this was the chance to truly hear each other's hearts. I reached out to hold her hand, but she pulled back slightly, as if to say she was cautious, afraid too. Deep inside, I realized that love is never easy, but true love survives through patience, tolerance, and understanding. At that moment, it hit me that the distance between us had only grown because of silence. And if we could speak openly, perhaps everything could return to the way it once was. Then suddenly, she began to speak. But there was no anger in her voice, no blame, only a quiet explanation. She said that she was afraid to, unsure of how I would react. And that was why she had also chosen patience and silence. Listening to her, I realized that the distance between us hadn't been caused by one person's mistakes alone, but by both of our fears and the silences we held. Deep inside, I thought that maybe this was the moment for a new beginning in our love, and the silence that had kept us apart might now bring us closer together. In that moment, looking at her closely, I felt that the strength of our relationship wasn't just in words, but in understanding each other's hearts, respecting silence, and having patience. I held her hand firmly and assured her that from now on, we would speak openly about everything. That moment became a fresh start in our relationship, and I thought that perhaps this was the day when we could finally revive the light of our love, without fear, without silence. After that day, we decided that silence would never be the enemy of our relationship. We promised that from now on, no feelings would be hidden in our hearts. Every emotion would be shared openly, and every small gesture would be valued. I realized that love is not only dependent on words, but also on trust, patience, and the ability to truly listen to each other's hearts. That day became a new beginning for our relationship, and we revived the light of our hearts once again. Even today, when we look back, those moments remind us that in love, sometimes patience, sometimes silence, and sometimes the smallest gestures can change everything. And true love always endures.